Hey guys, and welcome to this video, which is going to be an eyeshadow palette tag. Now, this is the eyeshadow palette tag part 2, created by Samantha March and Ali Glines. Now, this was from last year, and I'm pretty sure I did do this at the time. But this is one of my favorite eyeshadow palette tags because I really like these questions. And so I thought I would just do an updated version. They had also created a part 1 to this. I'm pretty sure I did that. I don't know. I really don't remember right now. I will link them in the description box and I will put the questions down below. And if you like eyeshadow palettes, check out my eyeshadow palette playlist. There are a lot of videos there. If you are new, please subscribe and let us know your favorite palettes and let's get into this. All right, the first question is an all-time favorite. And I can't not say the Natasha Nona Green Brown palette. Partly because it's so expensive, but also partly because I really do love it. The quality of this palette, particularly the shimmers, are stunning. They really are. I still sometimes can't believe I bought this. I did also buy the other super expensive one, the purple blue, and I definitely don't get as much use out of it. But this one, I think partly because I love neutrals and I love greens. Those are like two of my favorites. And it's amazing. Really expensive. I mean, I bought this on sale and I still like kind of regret it. But you know, it's good. What can I say? The next question is a new favorite. And this, I had to talk about this palette. This is the Nomad Cosmetics Okavango Safari palette. And this, they did send this to me in PR. I have several palettes from them, some that I got in PR and some that I bought for myself. And I have to say, I love the Nomad formula. It is really good, but also their color stories and packaging are also absolutely gorgeous. And this one, oh, it's also greens and browns. Okay, we're already seeing a theme here. I love greens and neutrals. Um, I love a lot of wide variety of colors for eyeshadow, but I do have to say neutrals and greens probably are my favorite. So, okay, makes sense. This one is gorgeous. I did film, I think I filmed 2 YouTube shorts tutorials with this palette so far. It's beautiful. Quality, color story, packaging, it's amazing. All right, the next question is an eyeshadow palette that you keep around for the memories. And for me, I think it is the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. Not so much memories of like when I wore this per se, but it more just reminds me of a time where I just loved beauty YouTube so much and definitely learned a lot from Jaclyn Hill's channel and a lot of other people's channels. And it kind of all influenced me that time, influenced me into finally starting my own channel, which has it been 5 years? I don't know. I think so. Or 4.5 years since I started my channel. I'm pretty sure I started my channel at the beginning of 2018. So this palette came out, I think, the year before that. And so I think it just reminds me of, I don't know, it just reminds me of old school YouTube, even though this isn't even that old. I mean, I've been watching beauty videos on YouTube long before this palette came out. Um, like, when did I first start watching beauty YouTube? I'm trying to remember. I think 2009. Yes, 2009 is when I first discovered makeup tutorials on YouTube, and it changed the game for me because I've always been someone who loved makeup and beauty, but I didn't really know people in my real life who were really into it, and I didn't know what to buy. I didn't know how to put on makeup, even though at that time I was 23 years old. So I have been kind of, I don't know, growing up, well, adult. I did started watching at 23 and I'm now 38. So kind of most of my adult life I have been watching beauty YouTube, and kind of cheesy, but it's also like helped me through some hard times. I don't know, sometimes just like watching a good old get ready with me or tutorial would just make me feel better, and it still does to this day. So there is something about this time and the times before then, but the palettes from like 2010, I don't have them anymore because they'd be so old right now, like no way. But this palette reminds me of the good old days, even though it's not even from the good old days. But yeah, I just feel emotionally attached to this for those reasons. The next one is an underrated palette, and I guess it depends. Some people really like one palette, other people don't. Everybody likes different things. I could have picked a few for this, but I did decide to go with the Natasha Nona Zendo because I feel like a lot of Natasha Nona palettes are really, really hyped up. But this one is one that a lot of people did not like. This is one of the ones where I feel like this one and Safari and maybe like one other one, um, Mini Leela, I don't know, got generally bad-ish reviews. And personally, I love this palette. I think it is absolutely amazing. I love the color story and the formula. So I don't know. I feel like it's still hyped because it's Natasha Denona, but it's definitely underrated compared to a lot of her other palettes. You hear people talk about how much they love, I don't know, bronze, glam, the green brown, I don't know, but I don't hear many people say that they really love Zendo, and I really love Zendo. The next question was, it's not a favorite, but you just can't bring yourself to declutter it. And for me, that's actually another Natasha Denona palette, and that is the Sunrise palette. Now, I have filmed several looks with this, and most recently I did film a member exclusive tutorial with this palette, and I do like it, but my issue with it is I just don't think the formula on this one is as good as her other palettes, which is interesting because some people say that about Zendo. Some people say that Zendo doesn't have as good of a formula. But personally, I don't think Sunrise is as good as Zendo or Gold or Green Brown or Glam or any of those. I just feel like some of these, especially the shimmers, are not quite as pigmented as I would like. And maybe that's because some of them are a bit more like topper type shades, but she has other of those topper type shades in other palettes that are supposedly the same formula as this. And these are drier and not as pigmented. So I love the color story. I don't want to declutter it because it's one of my favorite brands. Color story is beautiful. Um, Also, it was expensive. I think I paid full price for this. I don't think this is one I got on sale, not that I remember. So I don't want to declutter it, but I would say it probably is. I mean, it's definitely my least favorite out of my Natasha Nona collection. So, that's unfortunate. Favorite collab palette? Definitely Odin's Eye Hella palette with Angie. I love this palette so much. I love the formula, the packaging, the color story. Again, greens, seeing a theme. Um, there's also some like more neutral shades like this one. There's some beautiful duochrome, multi-chromes in this palette. It's just really, really pretty. And I have filmed at least one YouTube short, if not another Get Ready With Me. I think, I can't remember right now, but love that palette. It's amazing, and Angie did a great job. I also love the Odin's Eye formulas. I have plenty of other palettes from Odin's Eye, and I like how they do a lot of different textures in their palettes. And personally, I like all their textures. I think the shimmers definitely need a setting spray because they can be a bit chunky, but you get that really like metallic effect when you spray your brush. So I really like the Odin's Eye formula, and their mattes are really, really easy to blend. So personally, the formula is great. The concept was great. Angie did a great job. Odin's Eye formula is great. So yeah, I love this collab. Okay, the next question was, so when they did the palette tag last year, it was your 2021 favorite. And so I'm obviously changing it to my 2022 favorite. And I don't know, it's hard what my favorite palettes were last year. I'm sure I did lots of videos on them. I'm picking two because I really like both of these. The Sigma New Mod, I am in love with this palette. It is just the color story, the formula, the packaging, amazing. I've definitely filmed looks with that one, and then I've also filmed looks with this one, which is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2. These are great. They definitely stood out to me from last year. I used them a decent amount. I would say I've used this one more than the Patrick Ta, but they're both really, really good. The next one is a palette you didn't expect to love. Now, I mean, I wouldn't say that, like, why would I buy something if I didn't expect to love it? I didn't know what to expect though when I bought this because this was my first ever Melt Cosmetics and still my only ever Melt Cosmetics purchase. I've wanted to try their palettes for so many years, and there's always such mixed reviews. I mean, you guys know that whenever Melt Cosmetics comes out with a palette, people are like, is it going to be a good one or is it going to be a bad one? Every time. It's just how the brand is. And so, even though I've loved their color stories for many years, I just never bought one of their palettes because I didn't want to risk it. But when this one came out, the Gemini 2, I decided, you know what? This color story speaks to me more than any of their other palettes. Greens, of course, but this one, it's like more these rosy mauve shades. And wow, this did not disappoint me. I think the whole thing is formulated just beautifully, and the color story is gorgeous. The packaging is gorgeous. I was nervous to buy this. I really, really was. And I wasn't sure if I was going to love it, and I was nervous, but it worked out. So I am very happy that I bought this, but still, I have not gone out and bought another palette from them because, again, I don't know what to expect. And so, and they are expensive. It's definitely like a more expensive brand. But yeah, Gemini 2, it's a winner. All right, next up is a palette that sparks joy. And a lot of my palettes spark joy. They really do. But I know I'm picking a lot of Natasha Denona for this video, but I went with the bronze palette because this is like my comfort zone, I would say, of makeup. And there were many years where I didn't wear anything but warm neutrals and bronzy shades. Like every single day for many years, I wore like a brown like this in the crease, a darker brown in the outer corner. I mean, it wasn't this palette, obviously, and then like a bronze all over the lid. I would wear nothing but bronze, gold, and champagne shimmers. I never wore any other shimmers. But now I've expanded my horizons as far as eyeshadow goes, but that was definitely my go-to look, I would say in like my mid-20s. So that was a while ago. But there is something still when I do a bronze smoky eye. I do feel like that suits my skin tone the best. And I did actually film a YouTube short with this pretty recently in the last couple weeks, and then I was wearing that look in a few videos that I filmed after that. And multiple people were like, wow, that looks like just really nice on you. It's definitely my comfort zone. And I do feel good about myself in bronze tones. Next up, newest palette, Colourpop Smoke and Roses. I was very excited. I got this in PR. I've wanted this for so long, and they did send it to me in PR. So I am very excited about it. I've used it a couple times, and it's a good one for sure. All right, and last up is the first palette that you used this year. And for me, that was Natasha Denona Mini Bronze. I wore this on New Year's Eve, so technically I wore it into the new year because I stayed up until like 2:30, and I did film a YouTube short, and I really love this one. And even though I love bronze and mini bronze, I love both and I need both. So yeah, this one is fantastic. That is it for this palette tag. Let us know your answers to these questions. I have to get going because I need to leave right now. So thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.